G'day, Greg Butler here from the South Australian No-Till Farmers Association, and today I'm at Templars in the lower north of South Australia looking at a flame retardant trial on crop residue. We wanted to be very proactive in trying to reduce the transmission rate of fire, reduce ember attack on subsequent paddocks, and increase the amount of surface cover that was left to protect soils from wind and water erosion after a fire had been through. The main product of interest here is a product called ammonium polyphosphate phase 2, which is a registered flame retardant in a number of materials such as curtains and wood products, and we've applied that months ago, weeks ago, and about a week ago. And then we've had the Department of Environment and Natural Resources today out here to help us with a controlled burn. Now we're looking at the amount of cover that's left after that fire front has been through. We can see specific plots that have a significant amount more charred residue on top of the surface, and we've got some wind out here today, and the untreated plots are already blowing away and leaving bare ground, where the structural integrity it seems to remain intact where the ammonium polyphosphate phase 2 has been applied. We did apply 3 rates, one at a relatively low rate, which is equivalent to about 50 kilos per hectare of diammonium phosphate, one rate at 150 kilos and one at 300 kilos. The 300 kilo rate is probably pushing the boundaries of economic viability, and it seems to have worked very well, however, in terms of flame retardant. The 150 rate has also worked well, which is probably the most exciting, and we can still see a response from the 50 kilos, but it's not as good as the other treatments.
Yeah, you could certainly see when there was a backing fire, a more low intensity fire, that the plots that had been treated weren't burning as well as those that were untreated. And there would seem to be a difference even between the treated plots. And then once we had the higher intensity fire burning it out, you can visibly see that some of the plots, there is a lot more stubble residue left. It's a lot longer, and you can see that there is some sort of vegetation material left, whereas the other areas are burnt out fully.
Following the control burn, each plot was given a relative score for soil cover. We can see on the graph that there was 18 different treatments in total. Half of those were made up of ammonium polyphosphate phase 1, which is a regular liquid nitrogen phosphorus fertiliser, and the other half were made up of ammonium polyphosphate phase 2, which is a registered flame retardant that breaks down to nitrogen phosphorus fertiliser. In summary, we see that the ammonium polyphosphate phase 2 overall performed better than the ammonium polyphosphate phase 1. In addition, we saw a clear rate response, with the highest rates achieving the best results. We also saw a response to timing. However, it's also important to understand how the flame retardant will stand up in the face of a much more intensive wildfire compared to a controlled burn. And we also want to understand what the fate and impact on crop production is of the nutrients that are inside that flame retardant. That is, will they contribute to crop production whether they remain unburnt on the residue or whether they're burnt? And can this technique be used to increase the carbon retention and soil health in paddocks that have been strategically burnt for problems such as snails and herbicide-resistant weed seeds?